Hello, Taffins. We are here once again. Another day to dig right into the chart, and a lot has happened in the past 24 hours. As you know, if you're joining for the first time, one thing we do is try to address a lot of feedback, get a lot of feedback also on a lot of contribution on how the live setup has been affecting your trade positively or negatively, so we see how we can improve on it. So the chat room is open once more. You want to send your feedback, your chat directly into the chat room. So as we keep going, I'm going to be going through all of those chats. We're going to dig right into it, answer a whole lot of your questions, and we see how to improve better. Now, it's important to make it clear that one of our goals as an organization is to make sure that staffers are the most profitable trading community in the crypto space. So to be able to ensure that we achieve that is one of the reasons why we've started the live setup, and the past days has also shown us the importance of that, and we're really glad that we did start this. In scenarios like this in the past, where the market has done this level of huge crash, the result has not been the same. And as a lot of other crypto communities, we're getting like really largely affected. Unlike what we normally had, a lot of Taffans were not that affected. Some did have stop loss triggered on their setup, while others, like myself, are still holding a whole lot of trade as against what we've seen happen in the past. So this really gives us clarity as to the importance of the live setup. Now, a lot has happened in the last 24 hours, and it has been like a super media war on the whole crypto market. As you're just listening to one news, the next 2 hours you're seeing another one and another one and another one. You close your eyes, wake up, you're seeing so much news as the market is trying to recover, to bounce off all of the support, all of the chart. You're getting another news, and then the market is going down further. In the past 24 hours, we've seen over right now $384 million in market liquidation. Up to now, we've not recorded any liquidation for any of the Tafa users that are following the live setup, and that's something pretty amazing. Although there have been stop loss, and which we've explained in the past meetings, that stop loss is a good thing. It gives you the ability to take out your main capital out of the market and see how to recoup and re-strategize better. So that is something really good. 384 million liquidated in the past 24 hours from the Binance, Bybit, KuCoin, and several other exchange is a whole lot. Okay, sorry about that, guys, is a whole lot. Okay, sorry about that. So we're going to be seeing what is the market planning to do? How does this affect our trade? If you're in a setup like I am, we're going to also see how is our setup going? What could we do better on our setup? Amazing. So yesterday, while we were trusting for the market to hold the support, we had a lot of position at 20,300. The market was holding that support. Then we got the news of White House wants to tax 30% on Bitcoin mining. That again became another negative news. The market crashed further, lower than that. Right now we're at about 19,600, which is also a very super support holding. While we're done with the news of White House, we also got Wobi. If you're trading on Wobi, I want to trust that you weren't trading the Wobi token, HT. That's really had a lot of massive crash, like over 90% crash in minutes. While that was still happening, we were still getting KuCoin being sued and so much other news. Now, a lot of this news, if you really look into it, most of this news are just 100% feud. They are not going to last. For example, the whole news about Midgo's distribution that was supposed to happen today, the reclaiming and all of those whole process that was supposed to end today, And that also led to the market crashing a lot because people are like, okay, we're going to have over 130,000 BTC, over 2 billion thereabouts into the market, and that could lead to a lot of crash. Amazingly, last night, they did announce that that has been postponed, so it's no longer happening today. So that is something really interesting. So you could see clearly that the market has a lot of large media manipulation. All of the bad news coming at the same time, 1 hour after the other. You're getting something new just against the market, making the market not to be able to hold all of the market setup. So I'm super glad if you did hit a stop loss. It's a good thing. You have to note that you do have your capital to recoup that. And if you're still in a trade like I am, that's still a good thing. I did post yesterday that if you're in trades like Wi-Fi, EOS, that you wanted to take out your stop loss because we had already hit a major altcoin bottom, but they weren't bouncing yet. They weren't going up yet because Bitcoin still wasn't responding to the whole support movement. So that also made altcoin to be static. And we had Wi-Fi over there at this point. I have my Wi-Fi. I switched it to relax when I posted that in the chat. If you're not following the chat, please, it is vital. We post a lot. When you've taken your setup, we communicate if there's any change to the setup in that chat group. You want to make sure you're very, very active there. And we did the same for EOS because we've really hit major bottoms. But we've not seen that bounce yet in BTC, although we are still having 19,600 holding strong, but the bounce we do expect from BTC is not really what we're seeing. This is still really very, very slow, so that we still have a possibility of a little bit downward if the market doesn't make a positive turn by today. Now, if it doesn't make a positive turn by today, we have to be aware that we still do have the news for March 14th, means the market could be stagnant or just moving upward a little bit progressively throughout the weekend. We might have a little bit of altcoin run if you go to the altcoin money flow. You're going to see a high bounce already happening and money flow moving to altcoin here. None of that is happening with BTC yet. That is still really crazy. And we're seeing also that the money flow for USDT is also hitting some major caps. So we might have altcoin reclaiming most of their price during the weekend. BTC might still be stagnant, but we still look forward to on the 14th when inflation data are going to be a little bit clearer as to what the Feds will do. So that also could affect the market if that doesn't look good. But before that, we hope to see some bounce from here. Now, a few things I wanted to make clear as it relates to those who took the trade the past couple of days during this really horrible market condition. And I did notice in a lot of this trade, take for instance, the longest standing trade that we have is Lena, which I'm still on. Now, Lena has done a movement right from this point when we got our Lena trade, right from this point down here, right now a 40% price movement has happened with Lena. But if you're in Lena trade, you possibly have all your entries in. But based on leverage, all of these 40% in reality as to our entry of Lena currently, if you're using the strategy to the price that Lena is there about 10%. If all your market entries are in, is there about 10%, despite a 40% movement. Now, this means if you are not on leverage, you're just 10%. If you are on leverage, like we took most of those on leverage, then it amplifies the loss. Now, that also gives some clarity as to how a lot of users are managing their portfolio. And we did make it clear during the start of our meetings with the live setup to say that when we talk about leverage, you want to go watch most of those videos in the early part when we explain the whole setup and how we create the martingale setup for the live trading. that when we create our leverage and we say we want to do a 10x, it's actually not a 10x of our total capital, but most time a 10% of our capital going 10x. And that is not the same for every user. And I do understand some of the reasons will be low level capital. So you cannot afford to follow such kind of strategy. And you have to go leverage to be able to have a lot of capital to get into the market. But seeing all the market move for a 40%, and you should just be 10% away from the market entry. But on leverage, you're possibly 50, 60, 70. I don't know. For some users, you're possibly around there. I decided to make a comparison between the long-term flow of trading with the lowest level of risk, but the best setup. Now, one thing to note is the most important thing about all of our trading is the setup, right? The setup are superb, the setup are great. The calculator structures are so much amazing. So you could only have one problem, being over leveraged. So I decided to make a calculation to show what would be the difference if you're just making all of this trade in the lowest possible level of risk as against taking in all the level of leverage that you currently do. So let's take a look at that. And the chat room is also open. You want to send a whole lot of those questions and feedback as we look into this. So I try to do a comparison using the lowest possible capital, say $100, if you are trading with $100. So I really want you to pay attention to this, and this will be really, really helpful. So we do not have like a 10-step forward and 100-step backward. Now, one of the reasons why I personally stepped into making sure Tafans have the best configuration was still part of these reasons. A lot of people coming into Tafa are not fully crypto savvy people. They don't fully understand leverage, and then they come on board, maybe copy a setup from a trader using 20s, and he's not even checking the charts. He's just creating a setup, and a lot of those bad trade happen. So we decided to step up to make sure we feed the community with all the right ideas, the right setup, and make sure that every single member of the community fully understand how to do this. And we won't be relying on others to create the setup. Now, that doesn't take out the system of copy trading. So if you own a copy trading bot and you are in this meeting, one thing you can start doing is to take most of the setups that we're doing into your copy trading. So if you do not want your community members to go through the meeting, like we do have a lot of users who don't join the meeting, but they follow the setup, they watch the videos later. And for those that even don't have time to watch the videos, what you can do if you're a Tafabot leader here is to take all of this setup, create it as your own mirror, and get people to copy your mirror using the same strategy here, and that will be amazing. So you can guide your community on that. So let's jump right back to what I was saying on making a comparison and saying what is the best approach. How really do you grow your capital trading on Tafabot? So I want to use the simplest possible level of capital, let's say $100. And a lot of the movement we cover on average, let's say we do cover a 20% movement and then a 6% average for a guy who is using $100. He's on spot or he's on futures on 1S, means he's not leveraged, he's approximately on sports. Let's see what's the difference. So this guy is going to have a capital of $13.9 for each of his entry to trade on. Please note that. Now, for the other user who says, okay, I still have $100, I'm doing the same setup, but I'm doing a 10S, I'm doing a 5S, blah, blah, blah. His has $1.3 to be able to trade. Now, if you do notice that the difference is that this guy do have more entries than the other guy, but lesser first entry capital. Now, what that means is if all of our setup goes as planned, like we've seen in the past days before the whole market feud, if all of our setup goes as planned, this guy is taking a first entry profit of $1.3. multiply by 10, which is his leverage. Why the other guy is taking a 1% profit also per trade of $13.3. So in reality, if you do look at that, as you can see over here, I did a little comparison. I said, okay, this guy's using $100. How much per trade is he going to make based off if he's using leverage? So the guy using leverage, I did 1S or spot, or the guy who's doing the 10S, for example, 5S, whichever one. So you do have $1.3 capital. If you take 1% of that according to your setup for every trade, because the setup is so good that only your first entry gets into the market, the other entry doesn't get in, you're going to be taking 1% of $1.3. Now multiply it by your leverage is going to give you $1.3 approximately, right? Now, the guy who is also on spot, because he's not leveraged, he does have more capital into the market. So his capital multiplied, your capital multiplied by your leverage is still equivalent to the other guy's capital. So we're not doing a penny wise, pound foolish kind of setup, right? So this guy is also making the same minimum profit as you. So the guy trading without leverage or on sports, using the same setup, is making the same profit as you. But leverage does give us an illusion that we're making much more money. But there are scenarios that you do make much more money, and I'm going to explain that, but not always. So on average, you're going to be making the same profit per trade. So every time we do create a setup, let's go, for example, that would say BNB setup, we're covering 22%, and we're covering 6%, and we're covering 3% over here. Lower capital is covering 6%, blah, blah, blah. BNB moves, and we're taking a profit ratio of 1%. This means 1% of the entry we got into the market. So if our first entry gets into the market, okay, if my first entry gets into the market, I'm going to have a 1% of $1.3 multiplied by my leverage. So that approximately is still going to give me $1.3. In reality, you're using 10S, the other guy is using 10S, you make the same profit per trade when the trade goes as planned. Now, on average, in 30 days, if all your trade goes as planned, the guy on sports or on futures trading 1S, no leverage, he's going to be at a $39 profit on average on $100 capital. Now, the guy on 10S, if everything goes fine on average, is going to be at $59 profits on average using 10S, 5S, and thereabouts, nothing more than that. If you're using more than that, of course, this is going to be higher. That's why a lot of person go for 20S, but that also would lead to this other part here. Now, if a trade does go wrongly, like we saw with the latest news, and a trade does go wrong, the guy on sports, taking for instance the Lena trade, which is the trade with the highest level of drawdown that we have. Some other trades that we have, like BNB, they are like literally nothing. BNB, I'm just going to cross check what it is right now. BNB is still at about 7% in a 3 years, so they're about 2% movement. And Dodge is almost the same. We have also EOS. EOS is the same as BNB, thereabouts. So if all your trade goes as planned, you're making approximately almost the same amount of money, because only your first entry gets into the market, because the market is going in your direction. Now, if the market does go bad, like we've seen, using Lena, for example, the guy on spot on 1S can say, I want to take a 10% loss, right? Now, it will take Lena to dump as far as it has done right now for the guy to be on 10% right now. So he takes a 10% loss, and that's totally fine. If he decides and say, I don't want to take a loss, I want to be unrelaxed, because I'm just 10% away from a market that's done way over 40%. That's a good setup. Okay, I want to be unrelaxed. He can create that, and the market does the bounce 10% from here, and he takes his profits again from the market. But the guy who is on 10S is going to say, okay, I want to have a 15% loss, which is a small minor movement if you're using a 10S. So you probably even want to go higher than that. So let's say on average, you're doing 15. The guy is going to take a 15% loss instantly, and not a 15% loss at this point. He's going to take that loss way before leaner gets to the current price leaner is. Now, if the market keeps going bad and this guy is not able to take a loss or a stop loss, he's going to take 100%, $100 loss, which is all his capital. Now, this other guy, he's growing his capital gradually, and in 30 days on average, he does make about close to 39%, 40% in profits in 30 days. That's amazing. This other guy does make way over 50%, sometimes over 100% in profit. But when the market goes bad, he does lose 100%. But this guy loses 10%, or he loses nothing if he decides to wait for the market, and he keeps building his capital. So when we use the calculator, in reality, going over leverage doesn't have much effect as it relates to the profit, but it has a larger effect as it relates to the loss. Now, if you are in a deficit of like ZEM or Lena, like I am, and you are on 1S, you'll probably be sleeping, like I did sleep. But if you're on 5, 10S, you're probably worried because a 10% in 5S is 50%. In 10S, you're already 100% of your capital. So the goal that we should look forward to is building our profits, and having a 40% on average is a super amazing reach for profit. Now, until I did make this little experiment, it wasn't so even clear to me why a lot of users just decide to use the leverage, because of the concept of I'm going to multiply my earning by 20 without forgetting that I could multiply my loss by this. But this other guy could still keep taking the same profit as you're taking. You have the same minimum profit. It doesn't matter what leverage you're using. You have basically the same minimum profit. But in maximum, you can go way over 100% profit, 200% profit. But this guy is still going to be on the lowest level of risks, and he's taking 40, 39% profit. So one of the things we want to do is to recline back from that and see, okay, how do we build Tafan's capital from where it is with the lowest possible level of risk and the best setup that gives this kind of profits that we're talking about. And if a market does do like it did the past couple of days, you'll be catching a good sleep and not worried about looking at your portfolio because you're way over leveraged. So until the market gets back better, we're going to stick to having the best setup that runs on a 1S that works for every single person, including $100 capital. And you're going to compare what is the profit on that, and also what you've been doing for the past months that you're doing the 10S, 20S, make a lot of money, then the market goes bad and you lose 100% of your capital, blah, blah, blah. And you compare which is better between growing gradually or taking that big jump. So that's one of the things we look to explore in the next coming days. And one thing I'm super glad about is we are not among these $385 million liquidated, and we don't ever want Tafans to be part of that. So we want you to make a progressive profit, not a high jump and a high down zigzag kind of profits. All right. Let me be sure that that is clear. If you do have a feedback or a comment on that, you could send it right into the Zoom chat. So while that is coming in, we head back into the chart. Now, the most important chart right now in the market is not literally any other chart. It's not altcoin, it's not BNB chart, it's not Wi-Fi chart, it's literally nothing but just BTC charts. Now, all of the coins you're trading are on major support line. All of the coin BNB setup we gave yesterday is still doing extremely amazing work. Same as EOS and the rest of them. So all of the setup would not matter apart from BTC setup. Now, if BTC does decide to withhold or to hold this support level over here and progressively go up, or even hold it and doesn't go down, all of the coins are going to naturally go up. So we don't really need to chart those coins. They are just going to naturally go up because they are in a lot of bottom support already. So the most important coin right now we only need to look at is the BTC. Now, if BTC does withhold this and decide to start progressing forward, and we do hope that starts happening before the 14th, we can then see BTC back at the previous support of yesterday of 21,300. That is one crucial place BTC needs to keep holding for it to stay above the 20K value and not go way over to the 18 and 15K value. So if BTC does reclaim that, that is going to be a good thing for the market. Then we can start progressing into clearing a lot of short liquidations that are hanging around 22,800 and 25,000. So basically, this is what we're going to be expecting from the market. If we go to a liquidation index, we can just see a whole lot of position that the market will be waiting for. Once all of this run is completed, we've already seen the 300 million from the long position, and there's a lot of high leverage short position that is currently in the line of liquidation. And you can see that over as the markets keep moving, you're going to see a lot of short liquidation along the way, liquidation at even at 20,000, $80. As you keep progressing, you're going to see a whole lot of short liquidation that the market needs to clear. So we're done here. We're seeing there are no long liquidations anymore because the market has cleared off every other traders that are on a leverage long. So all we have is shorts. Now, how this works is when institutions move price like this, either with news like we've seen in the past couple of days, when they move price like this, the goal is always to clear both sides of position. So they aim for which has the highest level of position. And we did find that we had over $300 million on long. And what they did was to clear that first down up onto this point. Now, from this point onward, we have a large number of short position. You can see 38 million, 50 million short position lining along the way. Even at $20,100, over $50 million will be liquidated. And that keep going way, way over up there. So what next we're possibly going to see is that the institutional traders are going to try to clear off all of this shorts also over here. That's when we're going to hit that bounce right above 22,800. That will take out already all of these short positions that are hanging at this very, very point. Then the market could now take a chill pill, and we then look for, if we're heading for the 25,000, and potentially this could now become the Bitcoin bottom for short term. And that is going to be something super, super amazing. So if you're in any of the trades over here, what we did say yesterday is you want to stay on a relaxed. And once we are out of those trades, our setups are going to be totally different setups that are covering for the best level of setup with the lowest level of risks. By lowest, I mean you're trading on spot or you're doing a 1S. You're still going to make the same amount of money like I did show you in the comparison over here using a practical trade. So you're going to make the same amount of money, but if the market does decide to go bad against the setup, which does happen once in a while, like this is the first time we're having it in the past about 3 weeks, so 3 or 4 weeks. So if that does happen once in a while, which is why I use a 30 days mark, you're going to take a one-time 10% stop. And you still have made way over $39. But these other traders over here is going to be at a risk of 100% stop. Or if it does use a better level of risk, then it's 15% stop. So I'm going to jump right into the comments for those who are sending a lot of comments. I'm going to go through that. So just to be clear, that we've addressed this. If you're in a BTC setup, that still stands. BTC setup has not taken way over 50% of our capital into the market. That is still happening. We want to close that trade at around here when we do have that bounce. Lena is still there. if you're still holding on to that. And then we're also closing that just shortly above the current price. Now there's still about 1 or 2 users on Zem, and I did give you what to do. Then if you didn't do that, then I want to believe you're not in the market anymore, because this was the point of Zem. In our setup, this is the point we expected Zem to get to before we do find a bounce. Now, EOS, like we saw last time, is still the most solid market so far, with BNB, which is already having a good support bounce, and Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is already running almost 10% move from the previous low that we had. So if you're still on this trade, that is a good thing. We're going to close all of these guys on profit, and then we're going to recruit back to look at the markets again after that does happen. Now, we do not have this set up during the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, but if there are updates that come up, we're going to be communicating that directly into the Telegram channel. So if anything comes up, or a trade needs to change, or a profit needs to be taken, we're going to communicate that. But if all of the trade do close profit before Monday, we're possibly going to send new trade setup into the group. So we already see BTC going way over 20,000. If we go back to the liquidation tracker, so we're going to see a lot of these guys are already being cleared out. I did show you a lot of liquidation of about 50 million that is hanging. You can see it's the chart is changing. Liquidations are already happening. You can see the big bubbles that are busting. That represents a lot of liquidation. So there are a lot of liquidation hanging at even 20,003, 190, 4 million. This one has been cleared when the market came up. Now we are now seeing a lot of short liquidation ranging back upward. 130 million hanging at 20,800. So when the market does clear all of this, we would have created a lot of liquidity for the market to fully fly. Now, if you're coming in for the first time, you've not taken any trade at all. We did share one trade, which is still solid. So I'm going to go to that. We did share a trade, which is still solid up to now, which is the trade for BNB. I'm still in that trade. So I'm going to leave this in your screen. Like I said, explaining about the leverage, you really don't want to go way over leverage. From our next setup, we're going to be capturing the more best setup for the lowest level of leverage with the best possible profit. So I'm going to leave this in your screen while I go through the charts and the comments. This user said, if I do reduce my leverage from 5S to say maybe 2 or 3, would that savage my account or alter my bot settings? No, it will not. But if your trades are already inside the market at that leverage, it doesn't matter if you update the leverage, that is not going to change for trade that has already been executed. But if you do have new trade coming in, then that would affect, that would change the leverage. But for old trades, it doesn't change that. Okay, other users say, I did move my EOS to relax, like you said, and it's totally fine. All right. For this user, dollar, that you do have money in your reward and you don't know the process to take it out, please, you could chat in the group. Yeah, we majorly focus on the setup. So for support related question, you want to send over to your chat or reach out to if you do have any direct upline, you can reach out to your upline to guide you on the process on how to claim your rewards. Okay, someone said, what can we do with present trade with new development? No, you're not doing anything. You can't change it to 1S, like I said. Because they already executed trade. Like I said, you want to take out those stops because we're hitting already major bottoms. So once those trades take profits, then we're going to have the new trade structure. So we're not altering those for now. Someone is asking, where do we normally share the recording? This happens on the Tafabot YouTube channel. You want to get subscribed to that. After all of the calls every day, up there about 30 minutes to 1 hour, you're going to find it online already. You could watch and go back on everything we talked about. Milena, you're asking what is expected for Wi-Fi. I did show that. Wi-Fi is one of the amazing coins that are already having a super amazing support, over 10%, almost 10% already, and that is going really, really good. I do recognize that a lot of us that are on Wi-Fi, we do have at our average entry, I'll just confirm that, our average entry at around 8,200. So we're just going to draw that again. If you took a Wi-Fi trade, you should be taking your profits at around 3.3% from here. You're taking profits. That is something to be really excited about. So you have 3.7% away from Wi-Fi price is going to be your take profit. But if you do want to do something, now what you could do, yes, this is very, very important. I think this is really important. You want to pay attention here. And the user Milena, thanks for asking these questions. That will really, really lead me to guide all of us better. Now, I did explain the scenario that can happen in the markets. Now, and I said, number one scenario is that BTC reclaims this pricing over here, first stay above the 20,300 that we talked about, then reclaims this level over here. If BTC does reclaim this level over the weekend, that is something good. We're going to have all of the coin running way over this point. Like Wi-Fi is going to do a 10-20% kind of movement. So you're going to find Wi-Fi at $8,800. So now in our setup for Wi-Fi, the take profit is 1. Right? Means at this point, 3.7 Wi-Fi is going to be taking profit. Now, what you could do if you want more profit from this trade, because the market could just keep going, but of course, there's no guarantee to that, but the market could keep going and hitting this point over here, 8,800, if BTC reclaims that. So one thing you can do is update your take profits. If you do want more profit, for example, if you are currently in a 5S kind of leverage right now, and you say, okay, I do have a 1S take profit before now, I want to change it to 3 or 5, that will give you a 25% take profit of your total capital already, because for all of this trade, Wi-Fi, Zem, Lena, we have our total capital totally in the market. So when we say a 25% take profit, is 25% of your $10,000 that you're trading with, or whatever capital you're trading with. So one thing I'm going to do also is that I'm going to update my take profit from 1, because once the market does the bounce, 3.7% is literally nothing for Wi-Fi, and it can move way into this entry here of about 11% upward from here. And that will be a good 5% take profits. That will be really a good 5% take profit, giving us a 25% of our total profits. So if you go right into your app, you could make that update of your take profit. That applies to Wi-Fi. That could also apply to BNB, to EOS. You don't want to do that for Zem. You also don't want to do that for Lena. Lena and Zem, those are markets you just want to get out of. But for all the markets that has been rock solid, Dodge, yes, you could update those take profits, Wi-Fi, BNB, EOS. But for market like Lena, Zem, you don't want to touch that. Those has been very volatile markets. Those markets, you just want to get out of the trade with the 1% profits, which if you're on 5S, a 5% of your total capital. All right. Someone said that Wi-Fi hit stop loss. We did explain that yesterday, which is why I said you want to be on the channel a lot. We did talk about taking off that stop loss. When we saw that we had hit a bottom, we said take off your stop loss so the market doesn't hit. So if you didn't do that, then possibly maybe you did hit a stop, and you probably want to look into the BNB trade. Okay, I'm just going to look into more question. Someone says, should I re-enter Wi-Fi? You don't want to re-enter Wi-Fi. If you're only already on Wi-Fi, then you want to keep it. You don't want to re-enter Wi-Fi. What you want to do is to join a BNB trade. Is super safe, super good. BNB in all of the market movement did not do 2%. So that is lovely. It didn't even make a 2% market movement. So you want to jump on BNB trade than on the Wi-Fi if you're not already there. Okay. Someone said if you're trading with $100 and all of it in the market, can leverage help us to trade another coin? Yes, leverage can help you to trade another coin, but that means that you're now on leverage. You're trading in more than your capital. So you're still at risk and not following what the pattern which I just discussed. Correct. NS, you asked a question. Do I mean we should update take profit for Wi-Fi to about 3 to 5 years, and strategy period 1, just close that trade and take that profit? That is correct. I'm still going to update that in the Telegram channel for those that didn't get it, for all of the trade that we need to update a take profit on or a strategy period on. Okay, for Niels, I'm going to explain that. I'm going to send that in the group. I'm just going to type that in the group so you fully get it. So for our new users who are joining us today, you want to take up this setup for BNB. For others who are not, who are already on other trades, you want to look out for what I just explained with BTC reclaiming that, and all of our trades are going to be super excellent. Then we're going to see how the market reacts for 14th for more trade settings. So that's going to be it for today. Wi-Fi is already doing extremely well. I look forward to it touching this level. That's going to be really a good profit. Amazing. Perfect. And BNB is doing the same. Also, really good bounce. That's amazing. So if you're in any of this trade, that is good. If you're not, please join the BNB trade. And we're going to continue this conversation in the Telegram channel throughout the weekend until we meet again in the Zoom live on Monday. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much, guys. Let's go make some money, consistent and growing funds. We don't want to do zigzag like I explained. We want to make consistent profits. All right, friends. Have a super amazing weekend.